So these next 3 events I'm going to talk about are fun nights for your youth, but even more fun for the youth ministers and the volunteers. Well, welcome back to another episode of Youth Ministry Insights, and I'm excited today to share with you these 3 fun events that have been great successes in my youth ministry, but not only that, have been great faithful and fundraising successes for the ministry itself. So first, since I mentioned faith raisers and fundraisers, I want to explain the difference. So a faith raiser, I just use that term, anything that is going to enhance the faith of a young person, okay? So it's not necessarily raising prayers or anything like that, but just enhancing the faith in a youth. And then a fundraiser, of course, we know is raising money. So kind of speaking along those lines, if you want to raise money for your youth ministry, maybe you're going on a special trip, maybe to the National Catholic Youth Conference, a retreat coming up that you need to raise money to help with that cause, you can put the money towards that or just a general fund of your youth ministry. Additionally, you can also pick a cause or an organization to donate that money to. And we have done so both ways in our youth ministry, but I would say whatever the need is, find the need in your ministry and then go ahead and dedicate that money to that need and advertise it that way. Okay, so the first way involves duct tape. Kind of fun. Everybody loves duct tape and it solves a lot of problems. But in this sense, it's going to be duct taping somebody to a pole or a wall. Yes, that's right. You heard it right. And so I would say get anywhere from 2 to 3 volunteers. This should be the youth ministers and the volunteer young adults, or it could be maybe a core team leader from your youth that can be those volunteers that would get duct tape to the wall or to the pole. So the first part of the evening could be those 3 volunteers or 2, however many you have, sharing a witness talk about their faith, sharing about their faith story, their faith journey, and sharing that with the youth themselves. The second part of the night would be the fun part. Who can get duct taped up to the wall or to the pole first? We've done a poll because in our church basement where our meetings met, there was poles that were literally all throughout the basement, so it was really easy to use one. Now, granted, I would say try to pick volunteers who aren't super heavy because it's going to be really difficult to tape them up, but maybe more petite ones, slender in size, would definitely work best. So once you have these volunteers, how do you raise the money? The money can be raised by selling rolls of duct tape over the value of the cost that it costs you to purchase them, so you can make a profit for, again, that cause or that your ministry that you chose to dedicate the money to. So leading up to this night, you could be selling rolls at meetings or events leading up to it or all that night. And once you sell them, the youth now have an opportunity to use that roll to tape that person to the pole or the wall. It's been done. I've seen it done where it took a couple rolls, probably I would say about 9 or 10 rolls of duct tape, but that person freely hung from the pole in our church basement. It was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and the youth, of course, enjoyed it. The second and third ways I'm going to combine into one way to do it, and you could just use 2 different avenues. So the first would be pies in the face, the second would be an egg on the head. And so I've done this as vocation nights. Again, that faith raiser aspect where the vocation night was part of the evening. And so I would have a priest, a deacon, and a married person who was always myself, and if available, a person living out the single life where they can share their vocation story at the beginning of the night. And the way they raised the fundraisers was that each youth then got an opportunity to buy a ticket or however many tickets they like, the little raffle tickets, to win a chance to pie them or egg them. And so how it worked was the tickets were $1 a piece, so they could buy as many as they like. Some kids came in with $1, some kids came in with $5, $10, however many they liked. All those chances got put into whatever jar they liked to. So whether it be they wanted the opportunity to egg or pie the priest, egg or pie the deacon, egg or pie the youth minister who was married to me, or egg or pie the single life person who that was, that representative. And of course, you have to make sure that all your representatives are on board with the ending of the night. So after they gave their vocation stories, in each of those jars that had the tickets, you would pull one youth's ticket out, and if their number was called, they had the opportunity to either pie or, if it was the egg, the individual. Now, here's the little catch. With the egg, we had some eggs that were hard-boiled and others that were not. They were raw eggs. And so the youth, when it was the egg night, because we didn't combine the two, they were two separate, right? It was either with pies or with eggs. So when we did the egg night, the youth had a chance to egg the individual, but if they hit it on the head and it was a hard-boiled egg, that individual lucked out. If it was a actual raw egg, which happened to me, it went all over. And so some tips for your individuals that are brave volunteers to get this done. I would definitely buy a kind of smock, or what really works is one of those rain ponchos. You can get them at the dollar stores. Put that over them so that at least their clothes stay clean. I've also seen it done with goggles, but I think that's a little cheating, especially for a pie in the face. But I've seen goggles protection worn so that the person can protect their eyes. It does get messy, so I would do it at the end of the night so that those individuals can go home and get cleaned up, and then so that you can have an easy cleanup for the end of the night, ending your meeting. But it's a lot of fun. It brings a lot of youth out. They really get excited about it. And it not only raises the faith, but raises funds for your ministry or your cause. And of course, as we know, all these things lead towards touching the hearts and touching the souls of the youth. God bless.